So here's a clip of an interview with Senator John Fetterman. I can't say I agree with everything he says on every topic, and there's no reason why we should have to agree on everything ever with anyone. But when it comes to the topic of Israel, has a just, honestly, it's just simple and basic moral clarity that is unfortunately and sadly so rare today. Let's have a listen.
So let's have a hard conversation about Israel and Gaza and what's going on there. Everybody agrees Israel has a right to defend itself. Hamas attacked them. Hamas has to go. It's the means and the methods that people are in agony over. They see the thousands of dead children, the thousands of dead civilians, and they wonder, is there no better way to do this, Israel? I know you support Israel's efforts. Do you see an alternative?
Yeah, no, well, it's absolutely tragic. It's heartbreaking. And, I don't assign any more value in the life of a Palestinian child than my own children. And I see that kind of a pain. And it's a war, and it's absolutely terrible. And we have to, what's going on and where Hamas now is hiding behind civilians and things, and Israel has, you said, that they have the right to defend themselves and to destroy Hamas. I think that's critical.
So, Senator Fetterman says something there that is so simple and obvious, and that is, yes, it is war, and it is terrible. War is terrible. Every war is terrible. War has always been terrible. There is no situation in which there is a war and things are not terrible. It's not a desirable situation, a state of war. It's a fact of life that war causes damage. It causes a lot of collateral damage. It causes pain and suffering. Always causes pain and suffering to many innocent people. Yeah, duh. When there is a war, it is terrible. Period. End of statement. Now, where the responsibility lies for the fact that there is a war is a separate question. Israel didn't ask for this war. Israel didn't want to have to fight this war. This war was forced by Hamas. It's very clear. We all know this. And yeah, it's terrible, unfortunately. It's terrible on all sides. That's got nothing to do with Israel. That's not Israel's problem. All of that blood is on Hamas's hands.
I think everybody wants Hamas destroyed, but I think the position Netanyahu seems to be taking, and I'm wondering how you feel about him these days, is that destroy Hamas at all costs. They say many of the victims now are women and children, clearly very, very innocent. I know what you're saying, no life is better than the other, we understand that. But at what point do you say we have to come up with another strategy that at least keeps the innocent, the women and the children, safe?
Well, it very important to minimize the kind of collateral damage and protecting civilization lives as well. And I would hope that Hamas decides to not starting to hide behind civilians and creating those circumstances that makes it even more difficult as well.
But that seems to be their strategy too, Senator, to hide behind.
Yeah, that is their strategy, and now even in hospitals or in the tunnels and everything. And we also can't forget about the hostages as well, too. They've been now in custody now since October 7th. So it's an awful situation. And you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with every leader's views. But, we have an opportunity to stand with Israel in this situation, and that's what I've decided to do.
Destroy Hamas at all costs? Yes, that's correct. Israel has no choice but to pursue the absolute and complete and total destruction of Hamas at all cost. Hamas showed that very clearly and forced that on October 7th. They showed that Israel has no choice but to eliminate them at all costs. And so she says, but maybe they should use another strategy? What do you think? War's going to be candy corns and rainbows? You're going to eliminate Hamas with candy corns and rainbows? No. War is terrible. It's unfortunate. And yes, a lot of the people who were killed are women and children. First of all, again, let's not forget, statistics that come from Gaza come from Hamas. So from the outset, the statistics are not reliable. But even if the statistics and the numbers are true, yes, it's sad. Yes, it's terrible. It's egregious. And why is it that so many of the people who are killed are women and children? Because Hamas takes women and children and puts them front and center. Hamas literally hides behind women and children and shoots at Israelis from behind women and children. They put rocket launchers in schools and in hospitals. And they do it specifically for this reason. They do it specifically intentionally so that lots of Palestinian women and children will be killed, so that it makes Israel look bad, and people are going to come along and say, oh, it's not fair, you can't kill so many women and children. First of all, who was targeted on October 7th? First of all, it's number one. Second of all, it was civilians. Second of all, sorry, war is terrible. The fact that so many of the people who were killed, Palestinians who were killed, are women and children is, again, it's an intentional, deliberate outcome that Hamas has engineered intentionally for this exact reason. So that a journalist, someone who's hosting an interview, who's either best case scenario, very simple-minded, or just being dishonest, is going to come and present the case that Israel's being too aggressive because so many women and children are being, so many Palestinian women and children are being killed. That's exactly why Hamas does it.